Chapter 3. First Contact. It was the evening of Junior's 5th birthday. Up on the moon, in their quiet, peaceful moon house, Big Chicken, Geraldine and Junior had spent the day playing party games, singing songs and eating lots and lots of cake. They'd built quite the homestead up on the moon now, with Geraldine making regular trips down to the world below that should have been Season 3 for supplies. Their house was a moderate size, made mainly out of desaturated endstone and endstone bricks. They had a moderately sized striped front lawn made from powdered grey concrete and gravel, and there were potted dead bushes around the lawn giving it some colour. Inside the house was a kitchen with an open-plan lounge and diner, with 3 rooms off to the side. The main bedroom, where Big Chicken and Geraldine slept, the nursery, where Junior slept, and there was a spare bedroom, just in case they ever happened to have any visitors, which they hadn't had. Ever. Regardless, it was a comfortable, cosy space, ideal for a small family, clean and tidy, but with that messy feel you get when you live with small children who seem to require having their things parked around the floors in literally every single room of your house, as well as the garden. Needless to say, Big Chicken was constantly stepping on small bits of redstone, electrical components, and other bizarre objects that Junior would use to create his experiments. At just 5 years old, Junior wasn't like most children. Having a chucknet ship parked next to his front lawn had given him a very early appreciation of electronics and gadgetry. Very advanced for his age, he'd often spend days at a time inside the ship, watching FoxyNoTail videos and fiddling around with the ship's very basic control systems. His mother, who was quite the mechanic herself, had taught him all she knew about the workings of the ship and how to fly it. And he was engrossed with the idea that one day they would leave on a great adventure across the stars, battling spacefolk and saving the day. Little did he know that on the evening of his 5th birthday, today would be that day. As he usually did, Big Chicken put Junior to bed and spent a few minutes retelling him a story of one of the many adventures he'd had with Foxy. Junior's favourite one was the one about when his dad was originally created by Foxy's enemy, because he thought the parts where Dad kept getting killed and respawning far away was really funny. Once Junior was asleep, Big Chicken came out into the front room and slumped down on the sofa next to Geraldine. He let out a sigh and turned his head to look at his beautiful wife, who he loved as much that day as he had on the day he met her. It turns out 5th birthday parties are quite exhausting, and also quite good for reflecting on your life.
These past 5 years have been wonderful, my dear. I couldn't ask for a better life. It's everything I ever dreamed of.
Yeah, it's been great, big guy,
replied Geraldine.
But,
said Big Chicken.
But what?
Said Geraldine sharply.
But I still wonder what happened to Foxy. Do you think he's still trapped? Do you think he's alive?
Asked Big Chicken worriedly.
Oh, I'm sure he is,
replied Geraldine.
What, trapped or still alive?
Questioned Big Chicken.
Both,
remarked Geraldine.
What, you think he's still trapped by the chugs?
I know he is,
she exclaimed.
How do you know?
Asked Big Chicken.
Well, from time to time over the years have been a few updates coming through the chucknet to the ship,
she explained casually.
Chatter about how they failed to extract what they needed from number 1 and how they were increasing capacity to speed up the process, that sort of thing.
Big Chicken reacted.
What do you mean? You've had information about Foxy and you didn't tell me?
Look, you've been so happy living here, bringing up Junior, and you've been an amazing dad. I didn't want to take that away from you.
But Foxy is my friend. He's my best friend. I should be helping him,
said a frustrated and very panicked Big Chicken.
Relax, we've got a chucknet ship. We can travel back and forward in time as we need to. As long as the chucknet exists, the ship can go anywhere we need it to.
But what if the chucknet disappears?
Worried Big Chicken.
It can't,
said Geraldine.
Why can't it?
Questioned Big Chicken.
Because it's us that helps to destroy it, and we haven't done that yet.
How do you know it's us?
Because Jack told me,
she snapped back impatiently. Geraldine shuffled on the sofa to sit up and turn more towards Big Chicken. She placed a hand on his lap and said softly,
Look, don't worry. If you're ready to pick up on our adventure, then I think I've got a lead.
Big Chicken didn't know what to do with this information. He was torn between his idyllic life with his family on the moon or risking their lives trying to rescue his best friend from the infinite chucks.
Oh my, am I ready? I don't know. Are you ready? What about Junior? Is he ready for this sort of an adventure?
He said worriedly as he tried to make sense of it all.
It's going to be dangerous,
warned Geraldine.
We're going up against an infinite number of semi-evil chucks. You need to be sure.
Big Chicken got up from the sofa and walked outside the house onto his immaculately striped grey lawn. He walked to the edge of his garden and looked down at the empty world below that should have been where Season 3 had taken place. He stood pondering. What was the right thing to do? A moment later, he heard a tiny voice coming from down by his side. Dad, said Junior softly. He'd overheard the conversation Big Chicken and Geraldine were having from his nursery and couldn't sleep.
What is it, son?
asked Big Chicken.
We have to save Uncle Foxy. It's the right thing to do,
stated Junior. Big Chicken knelt down next to Junior and put his arm around him.
I know, but I want you to have a normal, happy childhood. You are the most important thing in the world to me, and I need to keep you safe.
We live on the moon, Dad. It's not all that normal,
replied Junior. Big Chicken chuckled. He smiled at Junior and tried to talk without crying. He had a huge lump in his throat and a single tear rolled down his cheek. He cupped his son's face in his hands and whispered,
Okay, son, let's do this.
They both headed inside and explained to Geraldine that they were ready. She grabbed a few essential supplies and they left the house and hurried into the ChuckNet ship outside. Sitting in the pilot seat, Geraldine turned to Big Chicken and said,
I've been running a relay algorithm on the few packets of data that we've received in transmissions over the last few years. There's not much, but I think I've got enough to give us a direction at least.
That's amazing. You're so smart,
gushed Big Chicken.
And I think if we can boost the transmitters on this thing enough, we might be able to hijack the signal coming from the Season 3 videos and talk back through them to Foxy.
What? You mean we can actually talk to Foxy?
Said a very excited Big Chicken.
We'll need to get a little closer and make a few minor modifications, but yeah, I think so,
she said reassuringly.
It'll be a bit random because we're effectively sending signals back through time on a relay system that's only designed to be sent one way. Imagine it like being able to talk to the actors in your favorite TV show, live while they're recording it, but while you're watching it finished, edited, and broadcast to your TV.
You're blowing my mind, my love. What would I do without you?
Gushed Big Chicken even more.
To be honest, it was Junior's idea. He's a real whiz at this stuff,
explained Geraldine.
Oh my goodness, son. Is that true? You're so clever, just like your mother.
Thanks, Dad,
replied Junior. Geraldine launched the ChuckNet ship back into space and steered towards the source of the signals they'd been receiving. Over the next few weeks, transmission videos from Season 3 started to flicker onto the screen from time to time. Still warped and broken, but they were becoming clearer the closer they got to the source. Geraldine and Junior worked on a booster circuit for the ship's built-in transmitter, and they were ready to start broadcasting out to Foxy.
I hope this works,
said Big Chicken.
It should, but keep things short. We don't want the Chucks picking up on our signal. I've done everything I can to encode it so it looks like generic ChuckNet code, but we're better off keeping the broadcast as short as possible, just in case,
explained Geraldine.
Okay, let's do this,
said Big Chicken confidently. Geraldine activated the broadcast.
We're live.
Hello, can you hear me? This is Big Chicken. We have been on the moon for a long time. It's very nice there. It doesn't rain much, but we make a nice house to live with a sofa in and a door, and it has windows too, and you can see.
Geraldine cut in.
What are you doing?
I'm telling them about our house,
replied Big Chicken. Geraldine deactivated the broadcast.
I said keep it short. He doesn't need to know what color the curtains are. He needs to know we're out here looking for him, and if there's anything he can do to help boost the signal from his end, it will help us pinpoint his position so we can get to him quicker.
Big Chicken paused, thought for a moment and said,
Okay, I can do this.
Geraldine reactivated the broadcast.
Mr. No-Tail, we don't have much time. We are looking for you to rescue you from the Chucks, but we're not 100% sure where you are. Can you maybe help us to find you? We need you to send a big signal. The bigger the better, please. Thank you. There, is that better?
asked Big Chicken.
Much,
said Geraldine as she deactivated the broadcast again.
Now all we have to do is wait,
she continued.
How will we know if he heard it?
asked Big Chicken.
I think maybe we'll see it in his next episode, maybe,
said Junior.
You're too smart for your own good,
said Big Chicken as he patted Junior on the head.